Good morning, I'm Wendy Burke, and this is the CBC Morning Report for Thursday, April 7th. In our top story, 300 Rotarians from across 17 countries are here in Barbados for their first face-to-face meeting since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic. It's been 2 years, but they're ready to work on a new plan of action to help address a number of issues affecting the countries represented. Here to give the morning report an exclusive on the agenda is Sonia Allen, District Governor for Rotary District 7030. Good morning to you, Ms. Allen.
Good morning, Wendy, and good morning, Barbados.
Now, let's get straight to it. What are some of the countries that are in attendance?
Oh my goodness, we're 17 countries from the north in St. Kitts all the way down to the tip of the Guyanas, French Guiana, Suriname, English Guyana, across to the ABC Islands. So we're quite a diverse district, 17 countries, 3 languages, 2,300 Rotarians and people of action.
Okay, now among some of the issues you're going to be discussing are water and sanitation, maternal and child health. Tell me how we came about the selection of the various topics, and then we'll get a bit into what are your concerns with these topics.
Thank you. So Rotary has 7 areas of focus, and those are set out by Rotary International. Water and sanitation, maternal and child health, disease prevention, all of those things are things that Rotarians all around the world are focused on. So as Rotarians in our district, some are more prevalent than others, and some we really pay a lot of more attention to.
Okay, now in terms of the ones which might impact on us here, what are the concerns and how can Rotary, with your plan of action, actually assist?
Okay, thanks for that. So in our district, despite what we may think, there are many people and many communities that do not have running water in them. So that's one of the main things that we in Rotary have been, our thrust has been for the last 85 years that we have been in the Caribbean. And we also have a very strong interest in disease prevention. So you would understand that polio being the hallmark and the trademark of our Rotary existence, we have spent a lot of time talking about eradicating polio, which we're this close to ending in 2026, hopefully. But also now with COVID, we've done a lot of work throughout all our territories here in the region, District 7030, and around the Rotary world, with making COVID and making COVID awareness strictly in our communities. We're very pro-vaccine, so we're the people that go out there and talk to people about making choices that impact futures.
Okay, and since we're talking about the future, 2 of the elements you also look at are economic development and being able to sustain that development. Have you had any specific projects targeted toward these areas?
So when we talk about economic development, we use a model that gets us using communities and their impact and using sustainability within the communities to get projects going. So we talk about, even in our water projects, it's from the community up. So yes, we provide the funding, but we also ensure that the communities are able to sustain this project after we are gone. And it makes a lot of sense for us to ensure that we have the proper technicians and technocrats within the communities in doing the environmental sustainability projects to get the communities working and labor involved, so that it's not just us coming in and doing something. It's about empowering those communities to making the right decision and helping that community to continue to help themselves.
Okay, with so many of you gathered and the conference taking place, you will evidently be planning for your future. So how are you looking to further the Rotary agenda?
Well, we have an exciting future. So in District 7030, our next governor is from Grenada. So we change our governors every year depending on the country that their representative. So next year's governor is Governor Leslie Ramdani from Grenada, and he will be a governor under the first female Rotary International president, Jennifer Jones, whose theme this next Rotary year, starting on July the 1st, will be Imagine Rotary. So we're going to be taking Rotary to a completely different level, certainly empowering women and girls, which is one of her main agenda items. And just as we have done throughout this pandemic, we have really adapted to what the pandemic has brought out for us. It has made us really more resilient. It has shown that we are people of action. And Jennifer and her team, along with Governor Ramdani, are making sure that Rotary is going to be in the forefront of that community service organization, of which we are the biggest and the best known community service organization in the world, taking us to places that Rotary hasn't been seen before.
Okay, outside of what's going to be happening in the deliberations, are you having any other exciting things for all of those guests who are here in Barbados?
Oh my goodness, Wendy. Thank you for asking that. Our partner, the BTMI, who have been very, very, very generous with us, not only this year but in the past, we are hosting a Barbadian extravaganza at Copacabana tomorrow night for our delegates, which will be Bajan in everything. Bajan food, Bajan music, just good Bajan fellowship. So we're looking forward to that. And we have many local partners and sponsors who have really come on board to make sure that our delegates are truly entertained, welcomed back to face-to-face conferences, which has been missing for the last 2 years. The last time we got together was 2019 in Guadeloupe. So you can imagine what Rotarians are going to be doing these next few
A
days.
lot of catching up, Sonia, but let's hope it's all done safely. I want to wish
Oh,
you a successful conference, you and all those in District 7030, and do have a great day.
thanks so much for having me on. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. It was a pleasure. Next on CBC Morning Report, updates on the COVID-19 pandemic and the war in the Ukraine. The number of COVID-19 deaths has risen after 2 women succumbed to the viral illness. One of them, a 69-year-old, passed away on Tuesday, while the other, who was 85 years old, died yesterday. Both were unvaccinated. The death toll from the virus is now 377. Meanwhile, there were 298 new COVID-19 cases, 125 males and 173 females recorded on Tuesday from the 1,308 tests conducted by the Dos Santos Public Health Laboratory. The number of people in isolation facilities was 75, while 2,134 were in home isolation. Mask mandates are no longer in place in restaurants, retail stores, and supermarkets across Bermuda. Many businesses are leaving it to the customer to decide whether to mask, although staff are still masked in several locations. Some, however, have kept full mandates in place, receiving both praise and criticism for it. Bermuda Broadcasting reports.
Masks are optional in most of the supermarkets. Most people I've seen are still wearing masks. The staff are still wearing masks. Here on Reed Street, most retail stores appear to be keeping things optional as well. Cafes, bars, restaurants, many of them leaving the choice to customers. Catching a movie? The only thing you might have to wear on your face are 3D glasses. Churches and places of worship are being left to set their own mask policies. We'll know better after the weekend how that will out. But there are some locations that are keeping masks mandatory. Hamilton Pharmacy still requires masks, at least for now. I still have to mask to enter a government building. Gorham's has garnered both praise and criticism for maintaining a mandatory mask policy. General Manager Andrew Mackay told us, quote, "Every organisation has the right to do what's best for its employees and their families and its customers alike," end quote. Reaction to the dropping of mask mandates has varied from elation to cautious optimism to anxiety. But we understand some supermarket staff, particularly cashiers who are in close contact with hundreds of people every day, are concerned that even if they are wearing masks, they won't be as protected as they once were.
Now to the war in Ukraine. In a new round of sanctions, the United States has banned American investments in Russia, imposed penalties on family members of Vladimir Putin, along with other top Russian officials. They've also tightened restrictions on Sberbank, the country's largest financial institution.
It is the latest U.S. escalation against Russia in lockstep with EU and G7 nations. New sanctions targeting Russian financial institutions and Kremlin officials. The U.S. president also introduced an executive order banning all American investment in Russia.
This ban on investment is going to make sure that new money can't come into Russia to replace what's left.
Some of those sanctions now include Russian President Vladimir Putin's 2 adult daughters and Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, his wife and daughter. On Wednesday, the Justice Department announcing actions against Russian oligarch Konstantin Malafev for sanctions violations and the seizure of a yacht docked in Spain earlier this week, owned by another Russian oligarch, Viktor Vekselberg.
It does not matter how far you sail your yacht. It does not matter how well you conceal your assets. The Justice Department will use every available tool to find you, disrupt your plots, and hold you accountable.
The Justice Department, working with the FBI, also announced it had disrupted a malicious computer network infecting U.S. small businesses operated by Russian military intelligence. The sanctions were accelerated following the images emerging of civilians killed in Bucha, scattered in the streets, some with their hands bound behind their backs. The Attorney General would not confirm he's assembling a Nuremberg-style investigation, but did go out of his way to constitute the killings as atrocities.
The world sees what is happening in Ukraine. The Justice Department sees what is happening in Ukraine.
The White House is warning nations like India and China against aligning with Russia to ease the impact of sanctions. But China accuses the U.S. of exacerbating the conflict.
If the U.S. is serious about easing the situation in Ukraine, it should stop adding fuel to the fire, stop imposing sanctions, stop coercive words and deeds, and truly commit to promote peace talks.
The White House says that sanctions already in place are having an impact. The Russian economy is set to contract in 2022 by as much as 15%. And inflation in Russia is up by as much as 200%.
It's time now to preview what's going to be coming up on Morning Barbados. Well, today is World Health Day, and we will be speaking with one of the diabetes advocates, Mr. Tahir Bulbulia, all about sugar and its worries. We'll also be finding out what the Barbados Association of Creatives and Artists are up to since they formed their new executive. We will have details to these stories and more on Morning Barbados. The Caribbean Nation Security Conference, or CANSEC 2022, has begun. High-ranking security officials are meeting in Barbados to discuss some of the most critical security issues facing the region and its United States partners. CBC's Lisa Broom reports.
CANSEC 2022 opened this morning to concerns from Prime Minister Mia Amor-Motley about the impact the ongoing war in the Ukraine will continue to have, particularly on Barbados and the rest of the region.
That is going to lead to discomfort in many of our countries with respect to prices and with respect to access to those commodities. It is going to lead, therefore, to the potential risk of us having to be able to settle our populations and to get them to understand that the world is going through a difficult moment. But it is not the first time that it has gone through, and it will regrettably not be the last because of the nature of just human civilization and our natural-made environment.
Now, reflecting on that war, head of U.S. Southern Command, General Laura Richardson said, with issues like authoritarianism on the rise, the United States remains committed to protecting human rights and helping to safeguard democracies.
For decades, Caribbean countries have long been champions of these sacred principles. A threat to democracy anywhere is a threat to democracy everywhere. CARICOM added their voice to the chorus of peace-loving democracies around the world, condemning Russia's invasion and calling for an immediate ceasefire. This region truly is a zone of peace, as all CARICOM members so eloquently stated last month. What we're doing right here at CANSEC is working together to keep the Caribbean a zone of peace.
And Lieutenant Colonel Carlos Lovell pointed to the conference theme, multinational cooperation in a changing environment, saying it remains critical.
I personally look forward to engaging with you on pertinent matters related to humanitarian assistance and disaster response as we critically assess both our processes and material limitations as contextualized in increased meteorological activity during our hurricane season. Of equal importance is the myriad of threats composed by transnational criminal organizations that prey on our individual and collective vulnerabilities.
Over the next 3 days, the security experts, along with their partner agencies, are expected to discuss and come to agreement on issues like the fight against climate change and COVID-19 and transnational criminal threats, as well as cybersecurity, among others. Lisa Broom, CBC News.
It has been almost a year since St. Vincent's La Soufrière volcano erupted and sent plumes of ash here. That event turned day into night as the country was plunged into a virtual apocalyptic scenario for several hours. In commemoration of the occasion, our news team of reporter Rianne Phillips and videographer Patrick Murray headed back to the northern parish of St. Lucie that bore the brunt of the event.
Situated at the most northern point here in St. Lucie, the animal flora cave was understandably heavily impacted by the ashfall last year. And as we hear from owner Manuel Ward, it was an exercise and an experience to remove the ash.
We moved about 48 pound carts of ash, roughly. It took us a few days because we couldn't wash down because of the problem with the water. So it was dusting and sweeping and then dusting it back and sweeping. And then, of course, the wind would blow it back from off the cliff because you can't sweep up out on the cliff. So today you would clean it all up and tomorrow you got more ash in the place again, especially on the windows and stuff and up on the, you had to wipe everything down. But eventually we got it done. They still got ash out there. So I tell people that when they come to visit, they stand up on St. Vincent and Barbados together because the ash out there come from St. Vincent. You can't clean up the ones that are out on the cliff. So last year, the only thing that I was expecting to look for now was Godzilla coming out to sea because we had everything else.
But brighter days have arrived for this attraction.
This year is a complete turnaround. Thank goodness. Tourism is back on the up. We're seeing a good return. Nothing like what we had in 2019, but a lot better than what we had in 2020 and 2021. My staff are working 5-6 days a week now. They're getting money to take home. Service charge is helping. So I can't complain. We're on the road of recovery. Let's put it that way.
On top of that, Mr. Ward has found ways of making money from the ash.
I have now taken up all the ash. I have a sheep farm in the back, and I am mixing it with my sheep manure. So I'm selling it as a Beige Vinci manure.
The animal flora cave owner is optimistic 2023 will bring better fortunes for his team of 30. Rianne Phillips, CBC News.
St. Vincent and the Grenadines Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves has given his country a passing grade for its management of the 2021 eruption of the La Soufrière volcano. Speaking at the launch of Volcano Awareness Month, Mr. Gonsalves says there were areas of the disaster management where improvements could be made. However, in comparing the eruption to other disasters that affected the U.S. and countries in Africa, Prime Minister Gonsalves said St. Vincent showed true community spirit. Jamaica will not transition from a constitutional monarchy to a republican status in time for the country's 60th anniversary of independence in August. Minister of Legal and Constitutional Affairs, Marlene Malahou-Fort, made the announcement during the post-cabinet media briefing at Jamaica House yesterday. She explained that in order to remove deeply entrenched provisions from the Constitution, specific steps must be followed, including notice periods that must be observed and a referendum that must take place. Additionally, 2/3 of the members of both houses of Parliament are required to vote in favor of the measures. Now for some sports. Pat Cummins smashed 35 runs in 1 over as he and Andre Russell and the Kolkata Knight Riders defeated Kieron Pollard and the Mumbai Indians in yesterday's IPL match in Pune to go on to top of the points table with 6 points. Deciding to field first, KKR restricted Mumbai to 161 for 4. Pollard had a strike rate of 440 as he smashed 22 not out from just 5 deliveries. Player of the match, Cummins, took 2 for 49. KKR replied with 162 for 5 from 16 overs to win by 5 wickets. Cummins ended on 56 not out from 19 balls, tied for the fastest IPL 50, inclusive of 4 fours and 6 sixes, while Russell made 11. Here are the highlights. Mumbai are still winless after their first 3 matches. Let's take a look now at the weather on the outside and see what today will hold. It's currently fair at 25.4 degrees Celsius. The humidity stands at 72% and the barometric pressure 1013.2 millibars. The winds are coming from the east-southeast at 32 kilometers per hour. The tides, low tide will be at 11 minutes past 2 and the high tide will be at 8:56 p.m. The seas are smooth to moderate in open water with swells ranging from 1 to 2 meters and increasing. The forecast for today is sunny with cloudy periods with a few brief isolated light showers. Tonight is expected to be a mix of clear skies and clouds with a few brief isolated light showers. Here now is a look at our international cities. Our next newscast will be Newsday, and there'll be the World at 1 via our radio network on stations 100.7 FM, 98.1 The One, and 94.7 FM. It's time now for Morning Barbados.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning, Barbados, good morning. Good morning to you.
Good morning and a terrific Thursday to you for joining us here on Morning Barbados. I'm Wendy Burke. Today is World Health Day, and we will be looking at the issue of sugar and obesity. With me, I have Mr. Tahir Bulbulia. He's the Youth Advocacy Officer to the Childhood Obesity Program run by the Heart and Stroke Foundation of Barbados. Now, Tahir will be looking at childhood obesity prevention and the programs which are currently underway from the foundation. Good morning to you, Tahir.
Hi, good morning, Wendy, and good morning, Barbados, and happy International World Health Day.
Yes, and let's hope that when we're happy, we're healthy as well on this day. Now, the occasion of World Health Day, let's look at the fact that you have been appointed as a youth advocate to deal with obesity. How critical is that within the current society in which we live?
It is extremely important that we have youth engagement and youth advocacy in every part of development within our country. And not only engagement, but actively involved within the decision-making process. And just as in health, we need this youth voice because we have a severe health crisis within our country. And 1 in 3 children are overweight or obese, and that is a serious issue. So who better than a youth to lead the charge in fighting and combating this crisis, especially amongst the youth within Barbados?
Now, you started your role on March 1st. Since the start of that, what are some of the things that you've been rolling out?
The engagement of with young persons. We have our youth subcommittee, which is extremely well publicized and engaged. So we have to expand that. We want to expand it within the schools, within the university, within community college, and most importantly within communities who really need to get to hear what we're doing and what they can do to contribute and become healthier persons and healthier citizens within our society. As I started my role, I would have launched had the World Obesity Day, where we would have had a show, and it was basically a youth forum on CBC as CBC presents, and that was well viewed by many young persons and older persons as well from Barbados and throughout the region, and the feedback from that was extremely enlightening. So the few months ahead is very interesting. We're planning to launch a school tour. We're planning to launch so much activities. Just stay tuned to the Heart and Stroke Foundation and the Coalition of Childhood Obesity Prevention.
Now, one of the things you're concerned with about our schools as well is having a national nutrition policy.
Yeah, school nutrition policy is extremely important, and it hopefully will be passed very shortly. We know the stats: 1 in 3 children are overweight. Another stat here is very alarming for me. Just under 75% of our students consume 1 soda per day, 1 or more sodas per day, and that is extremely startling. So the school nutrition policy at this time is pivotal in our development and within our role in shaping a better society and a healthier society as we move forward. So the school nutrition policy will deal with exercise programs, nutrition within schools, healthier options, more engagement, more of that holistic, healthy lifestyle within our schools. And then obviously we had the sugar sweetened beverage tax, which came into it's on April 1st, the increase to 20%, which we definitely support, which you definitely support and see it as of importance in this fight against non-communicable diseases. And within our schools, it is important that we lessen the consumption of sugar sweetened beverages, and hopefully get rid of it within our schools and market it to our students as well.
I know that there had been a water drive. I think your dad would have participated in that, where you're looking at having water coolers and more access to water as opposed to the soft drinks. Now the tax is here. Will you be looking to step that up within our schools?
Yes, that will definitely be ramped up within our schools, where we can have perhaps more water cooler drives, but more importantly, getting our children understanding the importance of consuming water. It's a change of a culture and a mindset that more goes hand in hand with the drive. So we have to change the mindset and help our kids to understand, and our students to understand the importance of drinking water and using water as a healthier option. So that for me is even more important as we go about it, and that's the role of advocacy. We have to do these drives, we have to do them, but we also have to advocate and help persons to understand the importance of why they're doing it and the benefit it will have to them going forward and in the long run.
Now, one of the things that you're also advocating is that our children do mandatory exercise. These are children who have been locked in for 2 years, have become accustomed sitting in a chair or at a table in front of a device, you know. So we didn't even have sports in the usual form that we have it, but how are we really going to mobilize to get them to want to exercise?
Yeah, one of the themes for my vision for the youth advocacy role is to have active everything, active engagement, active innovation, more activity, getting our youth more active. So how are we going to get this done? And that's the role of the school nutrition policy as well, where we look how the physical education component within the schools is promoted, and how we can get more involved in exercise and get them more active. But also we're going to have lots of programs within the schools, and there are programs existing already where teachers are seeing those fitness breaks, those wellness breaks within the classes, using active, getting them participating in sports and different activities so that they become more active and more healthier, and that can contribute more so to their development as a student.
Now, the students may eat and drink the things that aren't healthy for them, but they haven't bought them themselves. So how are we going to get our youth to try to convince their parents and guardians to take these healthier options?
Yeah, so for me, it starts at the bottom. It's a holistic approach. We have to tackle the youth, we have to tackle the students, we have to tackle the parents, we have to get involved with the vendors. And the Heart and Stroke Foundation is doing this, and the Ministry of Health is doing this, where we have various programs and initiatives. For instance, vendor training. How can our vendors become more aware of what they sell and what the impact of what they sell on the kids and on the society, how they can use that healthier option and sell more fruits and water, for example, or less sugar within the juices and the drinks. So we have our vendor training. We also have parents, where we train parents within our model schools, and our youth as well, our students, where they can come on board. But hopefully the vision is that we can start with the students, we can start with the parents, and it's a holistic approach. And also we then tackle into the students, where then we could go home and say, well, mommy or daddy, this is unhealthy, this is not good, let's use this option more so.
What are your model schools?
Well, we have Queen's College, we have Christchurch Foundation, we have St. Michael's School as well, and a few others within there that are a thing. And we are hoping to expand our model school program, where we can get more of our model schools on board and really getting the word out there of a healthier lifestyle and more active lifestyles within our schools. And with the implementation of the school nutrition policy, this can certainly go a long way in fighting and combating our crisis. Change will not happen overnight, Wendy. Change will not happen overnight. It's a process, and we must all put our hands to fight this crisis. Let's hope that within a year, with the implementation of the tax and the increase, with the increase of the tax, and then with the implementation of the school nutrition policy, we can see our NCD rates going down. And that's vision, we're a more better and more healthier society.
Okay, if we can look at the obese children of themselves, what has the foundation been able to do thus far in terms of zoning in on them and assisting them in reducing that weight?
So we've started various initiatives, outreach initiatives. Obviously, COVID would have put a damp on a lot of the outreach more so, but we have our youth gym at the Heart and Stroke Foundation where students come and actively train and be participate in exercise activities, be a part of nutritional plans, you name it, the whole works of a healthier lifestyle. They'll be able to participate. Also, as we have our schools where we go into and advocate and really try to bring that enlightenment to the students and to the kids. So we have lots of initiatives running, and the youth gym is one of the main ones and the main essential ones. But as I said, now that the country is opening back and schools are reopening and have reopened, we are going to be hitting the ground running, hopefully within the new school term, and really hit the schools and get them on board and get them more active, as we said.
You know, some will say to you on this World Health Day that it's probably cheaper to get a chicken and chips at a canteen than it might be to get a full salad.
Yeah, so we are working with the canteens as well to have a more healthier options within our schools, and that is something that is very much in the works. Lots of the schools have bought onto the idea, but it's just a matter of implementing it. And this is where the school nutrition policy is ever so important. But the facts does show that we have to see it as an investment within ourselves, and we have to see the options for what we have. And it may be cheaper now, but in the long run, it will cause an effect on your body where you would then obviously have to pay a lot more money in combating the crisis and paying for your health issues. So we want to change the mindset of how persons go about eating and seeing healthy lifestyles.
Okay, and I understand that you're going to be having another conversation come next week about sugar and our society.
Yes, definitely. On the 11th, we're going to have a special edition on CBC Presents with Sir Hilary Beckles. It's going to Dr. Kenneth Connell. It's going to be an exciting engagement, exciting discussion. I encourage everybody to join, everybody to participate and see what we have to offer. It's going to be definitely interesting. It will be exciting, and who better else than Sir Hilary Beckles is going to go within Barbados and how we can help each other combat this crisis that we have within our country and within our region.
Yes, because he recently thanked the Prime Minister for introducing the tax when the campus in Bridgetown was open. So Tahir, I want to thank you for joining us so much this morning. Tahir Bobolia, who's the Youth Advocacy Officer to the Childhood Obesity Program with the Heart and Stroke Foundation of Barbados. Keep up that good work. Today, World Health Day, and let's hope we can fight these issues in our children. Have a great morning.
Thank you, you as well, and be safe.
That's Tahir Bobolia. Coming up next after the break, we'll be going to BACA, the Barbados Association of Creatives and Artists, to find out what they're up to.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
And welcome back to Morning Barbados. It's time now to talk with the Barbados Association of Creatives and Artists, BACA. It's an incorporated non-profit artists association which is made up of creatives and cultural practitioners united in the quest to get better conditions and fair terms for those in the entertainment industry across Barbados. I want to welcome this morning the president, Mr. Sean Apache Carter. Good morning to you, Sean.
Hi, good morning, Wendy. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yes, thanks for being here. Now, you all have recently formed a new executive committee, and during COVID, I remember you agitating a lot for the artists, but we've gone a little past that period. So what are some of the new items on the agenda for your executive?
Well, we just participated in an initial international initiative, which was the Global Climate Action Project. There were several members in BACA came together there's a song that not everybody, there's like 180 countries that do perform the resolution song. It's a song that builds awareness about climate change. But what happens is that each country sings it in their language, to indigenous style or genre that is unique to them. So we are in the process. We've already recorded it. We're in the process of completing that project, and that will go live on World Earth Day, which is April the 22nd. Just last week, we had our fourth seminar. We had Peter Headley was passing through Barbados, and we had a very, very, very rich seminar at the Barbados Museum. As you know, we are about to go into the crop over period, and we are looking to have the inaugural extempo competition. So this will be an added dimension and attraction for crop over 2022. And after that, on August 27th is now Jackie Opal Day. So we're looking to launch a Spooge Festival, the Jackie Opal Spooge Festival. But to me, the main attraction is going to be the National Junior Spooge Competition. So
Okay.
those are some of the things that you can look forward to coming from BACA in the not too distant future.
Now let's go back to the song. And you said it's being done in the rhythm of the particular nation. Did Barbados do
Yeah.
soca or spooge?
We actually did Spooge.
Oh, that's wonderful to know. So let's bring back the birth of spooge. Let's rebirth it because it needs to come back. I'm interested in how you see the schools competition playing out because we're accustomed to it being at a different level, but because of COVID, a lot has changed. Break it down for me in terms of how the little ones can actually get to participate if they want to.
Right, so we're going to introduce, well, firstly, we decided to go in that direction of when the executive met and we were discussing it. We decided to go in the direction of the youth because for there to be longevity to anything, you have to get the youth involved. We're familiar with the more established artists, pushing the spooge music, but you need to get the youth involved in. So one of the things we're going to introduce is a mentorship program. So we're going to have various members of both within and outside of BACA who will partner with specific schools. So the initial preliminary stage, there will be that coaching and that training through the mentorship program, and then they will submit their video. The preliminary will be done by video. The judges will then pick the top 8 contestants, and then from that top 8, then we will actually have a live show that will be backed by a group of brilliant young people again from the BCC music program under the tutelage of Roger Gittings.
Okay, that sounds quite exciting. Now, in terms of the organization itself and what you're trying to do for the artists, let's start with membership and how we can become a part of this creative movement, and how wide is your membership base? Are we looking at all the visual artists, the performance artists? How wide is that base?
Yes, so our base is very, very wide. So we were formed initially in November of 2019. At that time, we started as a Calypsonian association for the most part. The majority of our members were Calypsonians. Just a year later, and during the pandemic, our annual general meeting, we actually had a name change to actually more accurately represent the membership that we had at that time, because we had a lot more artists joining within that first year. And that's how we changed them from calypsonians to creatives. So our base is very, very, very broad. We have musicians, we have, like you said, visual artists, we have dancers, we have theater arts practitioners, the singers and the musicians, straight across all genres. So the base is very, very wide. To join the association is super simple. You just fill out a registration form, you get that back into us, and then there's an annual membership fee of 50 Barbados dollars.
Okay, so that's quite simple. Now, the seminar that you had at the end of March, how did that go, and what were some of the issues or concerns that emerged that you're looking to deal with as an organization?
Well, the seminar was excellent. Peter Headley is just a wealth of knowledge. He has been very supportive from the inception of BACA. He's been very instrumental in helping us to network and to form strategic partnerships with international unions and music bodies. I think even our involvement in the climate project was as a result of some of the networking that we would have done last year. And then
I think you need to tell the people exactly who Mr. Headley is.
Well, Mr. Headley is quite similar to BACA. How BACA covers a wide range of creative activities. You name it, Peter has done it here in Barbados. He was the director of Carry Festa at one point in time. He worked extensively with the National Cultural Foundation. More recently, he's more popularly known here in Barbados as Miles Robertson's manager. So Peter Headley pretty much worked with Miles, or was very significant in Miles being the musical director for Adele. He was also instrumental in Miles working with Alicia Keys and a few other international artists. So like I say, his forte
So
is
Peter
quite,
has the hookup.
yes. He is one of those Barbadian born, homegrown, but he's based in New York, and he is out there doing his thing and promoting Barbados in a big way.
Okay.
I can summarize the seminar. What I loved about the seminar is the range that was represented there. You had from persons like Shirley Stewart, who was a legend in his own right. We had Aja there. We had Annette Nayas. So you see different aspects and areas of the cultural industries represented there. But the most beautiful thing for me was that we had young artists like Sivers III, Lee Phillips. We had Buggy Nakente. We had Colin Spencer. So there was a wide range from youth all the way up to seasoned, almost iconic Barbadian entertainers just there together in that space. So there was learning and networking even beyond the formal structure of the seminar. One of the main things that Peter was sharing is that it takes a collaborative effort, and he was talking about the team that they have in place. So we might know Peter, we might be familiar with Peter Headley, we might be familiar with Miles Robertson, but there's an entire team that is at work. And one of the things that he said to you have to know your team, and you have to know your strengths as an individual, and you have to stay in your lane and allow the other persons on the team to do what they need to do. Like I say, the main takeaway is how there's a need for that collaborative effort in going forward. Like I always say, anybody in Baca could tell you, I've been preaching it over and over and over. The way forward is together.
Now, since we're talking about teams and togetherness, who are some of the other members on your executive?
Well, yes. So my vice president is Anderson Mr. Blood Armstrong, who's well known. He is there you go. We also, our secretary is well known as well, Mr. Ronnie Morris, who will be the person very instrumental behind the Barbados Music Awards. Mr. Barry Knight, he is our PRO. Our assistant secretary treasurer is none other than Miss Betty Payne. Our treasurer is Tamara Queen T. Boyce, and our floor member is Russell Richard Antonio Oliver.
Okay.
Relatively new executive, and with this new executive, we also did some rebranding of the association. So the logo that you see there, that is actually a new logo that was just launched just a couple days ago.
Okay.
So we wanted the logo to accurately again reflect not just, we had the name change back in 2020, and then we now have a logo that is more accurately reflecting the base and that range of the members of the organization.
Well, that's wonderful that you've rebranded and that you're pushing the sector and trying to get some help out there for our creatives in terms of all of our artists and singers, dancers, what have you. Sean Apache Carter, I want to thank you for coming on Morning Barbados, and I wish you and Baca all the best going forward, especially as we come toward the crop over season.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure.
That's Sean Apache Carter of Baca. When CBC Morning Report will return after we take a break and give you a news recap.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
And here's a recap of our news. The number of COVID-19 deaths has risen after 2 women succumbed to the viral illness. One of them, a 69-year-old, passed away on Tuesday, while the other, who was 85 years old, died yesterday. Both were unvaccinated. The death toll from the virus is now 377. Meanwhile, there were 298 new COVID-19 cases, 125 males and 173 females recorded on Tuesday from the 1,308 tests conducted by the Besto Santos Public Health Laboratory. The number of people in isolation facilities was 75, while 2,134 were in home isolation. The Caribbean Nation Security Conference, or CANSEC 2022, has begun. High-ranking security officials are meeting in Barbados to discuss some of the most critical security issues facing the region and its United States partners. CBC's Lisa Broom reports.
CANSEC 2022 opened this morning to concerns from Prime Minister Mia Amor-Motley about the impact the ongoing war in the Ukraine will continue to have, particularly on Barbados and the rest of the region.
That is going to lead to discomfort in many of our countries with respect to prices and with respect to access to those commodities. It is going to lead, therefore, to the potential risk of us having to be able to settle our populations and to get them to understand that the world is going through a difficult moment. But it is not the first time that it has gone through, and it will regrettably not be the last because of the nature of just human civilization and our natural-made environment.
Now, reflecting on that war, head of U.S. Southern Command, General Laura Richardson said, with issues like authoritarianism on the rise, the United States remains committed to protecting human rights and helping to safeguard democracies.
For decades, Caribbean countries have long been champions of these sacred principles. A threat to democracy anywhere is a threat to democracy everywhere. CARICOM added their voice to the chorus of peace-loving democracies around the world, condemning Russia's invasion and calling for an immediate ceasefire. This region truly is a zone of peace, as all CARICOM members so eloquently stated last month. What we're doing right here at CANSEC is working together to keep the Caribbean a zone of peace.
And Lieutenant Colonel Carlos Lovell pointed to the conference theme, multinational cooperation in a changing environment, saying it remains critical.
I personally look forward to engaging with you on pertinent matters related to humanitarian assistance and disaster response as we critically assess both our processes and material limitations as contextualized in increased meteorological activity during our hurricane season. Of equal importance is the myriad of threats composed by transnational criminal organizations that prey on our individual and collective vulnerabilities.
Over the next 3 days, the security experts, along with their partner agencies, are expected to discuss and come to agreement on issues like the fight against climate change and COVID-19 and transnational criminal threats, as well as cybersecurity, among others. Lisa Broom, CBC News.
St. Vincent and the Grenadines Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves has given his country a passing grade for its management of the 2021 eruption of the La Soufrière volcano. Speaking of the launch of Volcano Awareness Month, he said there were areas of the disaster management where improvements could be made. However, in comparing the eruption to other disasters that affected countries in the U.S. and Africa, Prime Minister Gonsalves said St. Vincent showed true community spirit. And Peruvian President Pedro Castillo has lifted a curfew order following widespread defiance on the streets as protests spiraled against rising fuel and fertilizer prices triggered by the Ukraine conflict.
Protesters defied a mandatory curfew. President Pedro Castillo imposed the measure late on Monday. Protesters said it infringed on their freedom. Police tried to contain the people's anger. They used tear gas as thousands of Peruvians demanded Castillo's resignation. Many had come to rally peacefully, with children and the elderly joining the demonstrations. Antonio Portugal says he'll protest until Castillo is ousted.
Indignado! I'm so angry. We cannot have this kind of a president. We have to put pressure on him to leave, and to leave now.
Stores, schools and markets remained closed for most of the day. The army was deployed to some districts. Pedro Castillo was under pressure and lifted the curfew 6 hours before it was due to end. The spike in fuel, food and fertilizer prices was too much, even for the president's former supporters. Poor Peruvians, whose hopes were raised when he came to power last year, are now turning their backs on the government.
The truth is that Castillo has to leave because he's inept. This is not a government. Out with him.
The president met lawmakers to find a solution to the crisis, but left without announcing any plan.
The situation is getting more tense in the streets of the capital as the hours go by, with protesters throwing rocks at police and police responding with tear gas. Now, these are a series of protests that began a week ago, and many believe that they will continue.
Well, that's it for news this morning. When we come back after the break, you can get close to your phone lines, because on Morning Barbados, we'll be guessing that location.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
And welcome back. It's time to get close to your phones, 228-5562, 228-5563. Let's guess the location around lovely Barbados. Now, we want to thank Sandra Seeley for submitting this photo to us. Guess this location. 228-5562 or 228-5563. Where is this lovely building situated with all of its greenery and shrubbery surrounding? Tell me, can you guess where it is? What is this building used for? 228-5562, 228-5563. It stands out, believe me, it stands out. Guess where it is? Can anybody guess exactly where we are? Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Yes, can you tell me where we are?
Is this Warren's?
Oh, Warren's? No, it's not in Warren's. So when you guess where we are, you also have to be able to tell me what it is. What is the building used for? Who does it belong to? Is it private sector? Is it government? What can you tell me about it in terms of also telling me where it's located? Area and parish. 228-5562, 228-5563. As we drive around this lovely picturesque country, we see lots of things. Good morning.
Yes, I think that's the Breath of Life from the Adventist Church at Whitehall.
No, you are incorrect. This is nowhere near Whitehall, but you do have an element of the answer correct. Do you want to take a second try? Okay, guess she doesn't. No, 228-5562, 228-5563. You must be driving from north to south and would have seen this building at some point in time. The last caller gave you somewhat of a clue, not the right location, but something she said in there is correct. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, tell me where it is.
This is the Seventh-day Adventist Church in St. Lucie. I am not sure of the...
Are you sure it's St. Lucie?
It's St. Lucie.
Why you said St. Lucie?
Because because I've seen it.
You've seen it, but are you sure you're already in St. Lucie?
I have seen this. This is somewhere in St. Lucie. I remember traveling to St. Lucie and seeing this church.
All right, direct me to it. How do I reach it?
Okay.
Yes, what landmark will we go from?
I think I remember going from St. Peter, the gas station in St. Peter. I think that's a mile and a quarter.
Mm-hmm.
Made the
Keep
left
going.
along
Yes.
that road. I'm not very familiar with St. Lucie, St. Peter, but I remember the gas station. I made a left there and traveled along that road, and it's somewhere out in that area. Going to St. Lucie.
Yes, it is in that area, but you are still within the borders of St. Lucie. You've not yet crossed over into St. Lucie, because remember, as you come around the corner from this church, you're also going to get to the children's home there, and that is still in St. Peter. Yes, that's right, but we're still in St. Peter. So it is actually the mile and a quarter SDA church in Hopeland, St. Peter, and it was renovated after they had to leave their old church at Ashton Hall, St. Peter, which was in need of some renovation. So instead of renovating, the SDA decided they would build this new church. And one of the more interesting things about it is all of the greenery and the land that surrounds that church. And coming up, I guess, this bank holiday, you will be seeing them out and about there doing their various gaming activities and such like. So Sandra Seeley, thanks again for submitting the photo, and they will be celebrating their 95th anniversary, and they're going to be honoring the past, celebrating the present, and embracing the future. So here's to the mile and a quarter SDA Church in Hopeland, St. Peter. When we come back after the break, we will tell you that we're going to be getting onto some courts, but we'll tell you exactly what type of court.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Welcome back to Morning Barbados. As I said, we're going to be going to some courts, but we're heading to the tennis courts. Yes, the Paragon Tennis Club. We'll be finding out all about their upcoming event this weekend. And to help me is Mr. Craig Smith, who's the Vice President and Captain of that club. Good morning to you, Craig.
Hi, good morning, Wendy. Thank you for having me and giving me this opportunity to discuss tennis this morning. It's really our annual interclub competition that starts on Saturday. As you would appreciate, for the last 2 years, we've been seriously affected by COVID, so the competition hasn't taken place. So it actually starts on Saturday. There are 6 clubs in the competition. The competition will run for about 6 weeks. So this weekend we have 2 matches, which should be Windward versus the Barbados Yacht Club, and Ocean View versus the Tennis Center. Paragon, actually, we're off this week. We have a bye. And at this point, I also want to thank the sponsor, Carib Connect. They've been with us for quite a while, and we know things have been hard due to the pandemic, but they still stepped up to assist us with this competition. Without sponsorship, most things don't take place. So I want to thank them as well. So because I said, the competition will start on Saturday. It'll run for 6 weeks. We'll take a slight break for Easter. The format is 2 ladies doubles, 3 men's doubles, and 2 mixed doubles. So we're looking forward to getting back on the court because of the COVID restrictions and
now, lawn tennis used to be extremely popular, taught at a number of schools, especially the older secondary schools. But you don't see it as much out there unless you're participating in a club. What are your concerns about the, reviving the sport and having more people active in it across Barbados?
There are 2 issues. I think a lot of the court facilities, over time have run down. So it's made the sport a little harder to continue in those schools, and other sports like cricket, basketball have taken over where tennis, and there's obviously perception you have to buy a racket for maybe $100 and the shoes and another pair of shoes. So tennis has that perception, but I don't think that's the case. What we at the association have done, we have started a junior initiative program which takes place at our National Tennis Center. The fees are very reasonable. We charge, I think the base fee is about $50 a month, up to maybe $150 a month. And that's for 2 to 3 days of tennis. We provide the rackets. All you need to come with some shoes, and then you can join our JTI program. So we're trying to.
And how young can you join in from?
They start on the 10, so you can start at basically any age because we have different size rackets for different ages. Okay. We're also looking at the director of the program, which is Mr. Damien Appleby. We're also looking to trying to go into communities as well. Holishill has a tennis court. So looking at various facilities around the island where we could start a program where the children can get all the way to the National Tennis Center, which is so easy to get to in Wildy, but actually bringing the sport into their communities. We also have school initiatives now where we go into certain schools, and certain schools actually come up to the National Tennis Center maybe a couple of days a week to experience tennis. So we're trying to get the sport out there again. It is sponsorship is a key component because obviously we have to pay the coaches and to get the balls, but we get a lot of support from our international agency, which is the ITF. So they're sending equipment, as I said, rackets and other things to assist us to advance the sport of tennis.
Now that's commendable, given all that's been happening internationally, that the ITF still gives you that type of backing. How have you been able to keep that relationship cemented through the pandemic?
Well, don't forget, our president has just come back. He normally goes and represents us at the ITF conference. There's still a lot of Zoom stuff going on. Don't forget the ITF. I think they have a lot of money if you look at what the tennis players throughout the world work for when they play these tournaments, $1-2 million for the winner. So there's money out there, and I think the key for the ITF is to develop the sport in the smaller countries. So they've been very, very supportive. We have our own region within the ITF, and as I said, they try very hard to help us. They have a resource center that we can access to get educational information. They're just a phone call away should we need any assistance as it relates to tennis. So they've been more than supportive. And we have a very good team at the tennis center. We have 3 or 4 coaches. We have Christian Matzel. We have Julian Baird. As I said, we have Damien Appleby. We have Cherie Slocum. And all these people are committed to advancing the sport of tennis and to break that stigma where they say, oh, tennis is a rich man's sport, which we know is not really the case,
Okay. Now, in terms of the tournament this weekend, can spectators come out and be a part of it?
The challenge that we have is, as you appreciate, the COVID restrictions and the spacing, and some of the clubs are not that big, so we're very limited in the amount of space that we can accommodate spectators. The key one would be the National Tennis Center. They have a match there this weekend, and obviously that's a lot bigger environment. So yes, I would encourage you to come out. Actually, that's going to be one of the key matches. Got the two of the strongest teams are playing this weekend at the National Tennis Center, which would be the Tennis Center versus Ocean View. So that's a match that I definitely will take in. As Paragon, we have a bye this weekend, so it's good to go and assess the competition.
I
A lot of bragging
see.
rights associated with this tournament.
But let us hope that all of you don't run away from home, given that the tournament will be happening on your courts.
No. We'll be
Okay.
practice and then we'll go up and see what's happening up there.
Okay. Now, how big is your club, and how have you been looking to enhance things there? Because Paragon is quite a distance away.
No. Paragon, there are two Paragons. Our Paragon actually.
Oh, your Paragon isn't that
We're
one.
Paragon. We're
Oh,
Paragon. We're not that far. Our club is an older club, but we have a set of juniors that actually train at our club through Coach Paul Stewart, and actually they will be assisting us in our team this year. I mean, the majority of the club, I would say, we're easily over 40, but they will help to bring the average age down a bit to make us a little more competitive. So we will see how that goes.
So where are you exactly?
But Paragon, we are right behind the post office in Britainsill. So once you go past the post office, Paragon has been there for many years. Even when I was a junior, which is many years ago, I used to play at Paragon. So it's been there quite a while. It's tucked away in the back, so most people don't know about it. I say we're a social tennis club.
Okay, so you do more socializing than tennis?
Or no, but I would say, for me, I get education and tennis.
Okay.
We have a quite diverse group of people there, and I consider some of them very bright, and I've learned a lot outside the sport as well. So.
Now, you had mentioned that a lot of people in the sport are over 40. I know a number of people who are over that age range who do play tennis and play it very actively. But outside of that youth program that you're having now, what other initiatives have you been pushing at the community, and especially in your area perhaps, to get people from the community involved?
I should have mentioned the fact that we also have an adult component to our program for those people that don't know how to play tennis, that want to play tennis. It's called the ATA, which is the Adult Tennis Initiative. So we've actually started that at the National Tennis Center, which is a couple of days a week. But in terms of going out into the community, we haven't really targeted the older people. I think they're a little more flexible. So anybody who's interested in learning tennis can just call the National Tennis Center and just become part of our, as I said, adult tennis.
And what's
initiative.
that number?
We have. That's a good question,
Or maybe your number or email.
It shouldn't be hard to find. As I said, just look up the National Tennis Center and just give them a call. Damien or Sharice, they can provide the necessary information that you need. And we just have spent millions of dollars in our facility. We got them three brand new courts which were donated by the Maria Holder Foundation. So our facility is looking good, and we're heading in the right direction.
And these are what type of courts that you have?
Hard courts.
Okay. There's no likelihood of us going back to grass or clay.
But the problem with those courts are very hard. Preparation-wise, they're very hard. Grass courts are not easy. You can't play year-round. The only challenge with hard courts, it can be a little hard on your knees. But yeah, it'd be good to have a clay court. But again, it has to do with the cost at the end of the day.
Okay.
So we're looking forward to see you out there, Wendy. So I'll sign you up for a free lesson.
You do that. I'm not sure if my arms can take it, but you can go right ahead. And we'll see when I have some downtime that I can play.
No problem. Thank you.
Well, Craig, I wish you a good tournament this weekend. Check out your competition so that you can ensure you're in the final going forward. Paragon Tennis Club Vice President and Captain Craig Smith. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Thanks, Wendy. Thanks for your time. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
As you would have heard, they're looking to get everyone active in tennis once again and taking it to the community. When we come back, we'll be telling you about Beige to the world, and we'll get to meet the other finalists in the competition.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
And welcome back to Morning Barbados. This weekend coming up, we will have the finals of the Beige to the World Season 2 competition. And we had some of the other finalists along, and now we have 3 more to tell you exactly how they're gearing up for the competition. I want to welcome Jaleesa Edwards, Tariq O'Neill Griffith, and Rebecca Carter, who are all finalists in this year's competition. Now, Beige to the World, which is brought to you by the National Cultural Foundation as well as the Ministry of Youth, they've been getting together to make this all possible. We have these youngsters, all 9 of them, vying for a prize of $20,000 in cash, the chance to perform internationally with world-renowned soca artists Fay-Ann Lyons and Bunji Garlin, and so much more. We want to welcome our finalists again this morning. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Hi, good morning.
Yes. Now, let's start off with the lone male, Tariq. Now, how has the competition been for you so far? A bit of your shyness is still there because I watch you, but how would you say you've grown in the competition?
Honestly, I would say that this competition has been amazing because a few years ago, Tariq was not thinking about singing soca songs. But nowadays, I found that I am really getting into other genres and not only the ballads.
Okay. Now, that's Tariq. What about you, Rebecca?
This competition has been so developmental for me. Helped me to grow a lot. I am no longer shy, Barbados. But it really helped me to get out my comfort zone a lot, like a whole lot. And I think it's starting to turn towards soca a lot too, like Tariq.
Okay, and what about you, Jaleesa? Is soca now becoming a love of yours?
Yes, I think that the competition has been very developmental, as Rebecca said, and I always wanted to try soca, but I am now learning how hard soca actually is.
Okay. Now, I noted well that most of you said it was very developmental for you. And that's one of the aims of the competition, to make you well-rounded entertainers and equip you with some of the tools necessary to launch your careers in the industry. And you have had quite a number of people helping you along in the process, along with your mentors. How has the relationship been for you, Tariq, with the person who would have mentored you?
Honestly, my mentor is Mahalia. She is an amazing person. She always checks up on me, she always makes sure that Tariq is always on point and ready for the competition. Honestly, I just want to thank her, and I will continue to thank her even when the competition is over. I will continue to speak to her because she is an amazing person.
Okay, and what is being on point for Tariq in terms of your performances?
Okay, so like I said, I'm not a soca singer, so that has been the most difficult part for me, learning to perform soca songs. And for the past few weeks, he has been calling in, sending me little small videos showing me exactly what I can do to make my performances better.
Okay, now you also like songwriting. Tell me how you're looking to push that once the competition is over.
Well, after the competition, I am looking to write a lot more soca songs because I actually do bashment soca. I don't do the sweet soca, but I do bashment soca. But I guess after the competition, I'm going to be looking to write a lot more of sweet soca songs.
Okay, let's get to you now, Rebecca, and how you have come through the competition. You two have gone fully outside of your comfort zone. How was that for you initially?
At first, honestly, it was challenging. But after a while, I guess I become more comfortable with singing genres that I am not so into. I love ballads. I always sing in ballads, but I believe that after this competition, I wanna get a soca song of my own or two.
Okay, and what else are you looking at doing in terms of your development in the industry? Where do you want to jump off?
Honestly, I don't know where I'm off yet. But
Okay.
for sure, after competition, I looking to push my own music to get
Okay.
myself out there some more.
Well, that's awesome. Now to you, Jaleesa. What has been the high point for you thus far in the competition?
Well, for me, I would say the semifinals was my high point because throughout the season, I have really struggled mentally. I feel like we just got a small taste of what the entertainment industry is really about. And, coping and battling work, late rehearsal and stuff like that, it was challenging. So for me, I would say semifinals night was when I really came and brought my A game.
Okay, and that's what a lot of you will have to do for Saturday's show. Bring your A game, because not only will it be you on stage, but there'll be other guest performers there that I guess you want to pattern yourself after, like last year's winner, Kashida Dottin, Barry Chandler, and Shadia Marshall, Marsville, Hypersounds, and most importantly, that performance by Fayanne Lyons and Bungie Garland. How are you looking forward to that, Tariq?
Honestly, I'm excited, especially to see Bungie, because I have always been a fan of his, and the other performances too, like Fayanne and Marsville. Yeah.
Okay. What about the others? How are you looking forward
everybody. Looking forward to see everybody.
Oh,
because, like I
okay.
said, because of the soca, I feel like I can learn a lot from them, because all of those people have been in the industry for a while. So I feel like they can teach me a lot.
What about you, Jaleesa?
I am most excited to see Fayanne perform. I've never really seen her perform live before. Well, I've never really seen any famous person before, but I am most excited to see her.
Okay. And Rebecca?
Man, I'm excited to see everybody, but mostly Fayanne. I adore that woman. But I'm excited to see everybody perform. That's the truth.
Okay. Now, you have been exposed to some areas that you wouldn't have before. You've had your workshops. You've had your critiques from the judges. What, for you all, is your biggest takeaway from all that has led up to this moment of the finals? And I'll start with you, Rebecca.
My biggest takeaway from the judges' critiques was to get out my comfort zone. Because once I am on stage, I get so comfortable in what I'm doing. Like I close my eyes a lot. I'm a shy singer. And so I don't really like engage the crowd, but after a while hearing the judges like constantly talking to me about it, I had no choice but to
shift gear.
Come out, yeah.
Okay, awesome. What about you, Jaleesa?
Well, for me, my biggest takeaway would have to be my confidence. And just, being in the right frame of mind, being there, just being focused on my performance and nothing else, and just, moving around on the stage, engaging with the audience and stuff like that.
Okay, and Tariq, your biggest takeaway based on those critiques?
For me, my biggest takeaway is, I can't remember exactly who told me to, but it is about learning about the song before you sing it. So basically, if you're singing a love song, you should go and read up about the song so that you can understand what the singer was talking about, so that when you perform, you can express your feelings in a certain way.
Okay, so these expressions will be coming alive this weekend when we get to see on CBC TV 8 the live stream at 7:30. That's Saturday, April 9th. And the show will be brought to you because of partners like the National Cultural Foundation, Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc., Hilton Barbados Resort, the Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation, Starcom Network, Fruity, Trident Insurance, C.O. Williams Construction, and the City of Bridgetown Cooperative Credit Union. Now, you three will also be competing against 6 others. We have Shantae Allen Clark, Damon and Asha, Diane Gemmett, Diana Price, Harmony Haynes, and Christina Dottin. So you have your competition set out for you. I hope you all have been doing your utmost in terms of your rehearsals and all the other prep you have, costuming included, yes?
Yes, please.
So you're ready?
We are. Definitely.
Okay, so I'll see you on Saturday. Have an awesome competition. It was great talking to you this morning on Morning Barbados. Tariq O'Neill Griffith, Jalisa Edwards, and Rebecca Carter. Have a great morning. Bye.
You too.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Those are our Beige to the World finalists. Season 2 coming up on Saturday. Stay tuned in front of your telly at 7:30 to Channel 8, CBC TV 8. And you can also look out for what's going to be happening along the way via social media, Facebook, Beige to the World, and on Instagram, Beige to World. So you can follow them, see what they're up to, look back at some performances, and be rooting for your favorite performer on the night. Morning Barbados will be back in a bit.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
And it's Exceptional Youth Thursday. And we're going to be speaking to a footballer, but this time a goalkeeper. He's with the Barbados Soccer Academy. I want to welcome 19-year-old Joseph Neblett. Good morning to you, Joseph.
Morning to you, Wendy. Morning to you, Barbados.
Yes. Now, Joseph, you are a student at the St. Leonard's Boys School, but you're also into running. How are you managing that goalkeeping with the academy, given all your hours of practice, along with sports?
Well, basically, it's just time management. Basically, how you manage your time and what you prioritize. So, throughout the day at school, I would do my schoolwork. If I'm home, I would do my homework. And then afterwards, I would then head out to the field, either to goalkeep or either to train as an athlete.
Okay.
So it's all time management.
So do you have a preference for one over the other, or you love both equally?
Well, personally, I prefer goalkeeping now over athletics because I now started to see my potential as a late bloomer. And I now started to realize this is what I really want to do instead of athletics. So I do prefer goalkeeping a tad bit over athletics.
Okay. Now you said late bloomer. What age did you enter football?
I entered football around the age of 16. I was playing before, but I was not playing as a club. So therefore, the football was not structured. But now when I'm playing for club, I started at 16, so that's why I call myself a late bloomer. But I was playing in my childhood, just scrimmaging.
Okay. Well, now you're into that rigidity. Do you find it difficult to have to manage in this different environment, or it has done well for you, you'd say?
It's not very difficult because most of what I display on the football field at home was scrimmaging. It's basically you just get that to another level when you are playing structured football for team because you have to be more composed, you have to communicate more, and these are things that you also do learn in athletics, so it's not that difficult.
Okay, so outside of football, you also like to fish, and you have a dream in terms of that fishing. What tell us about it?
Yes, please. So I've been fishing now from the time I was young at primary school. I go fishing on the weekends. Sometimes I go on a boat. And my dream one day is to become a commercial fisherman. That's basically what I want to do. I want to be an entrepreneur in that field. I basically want to own many ice boats where we go out at sea for a couple of weeks or so and bring back any fish and sell them to smaller persons or businesses located in the tourism sector or supermarkets.
Okay, so that's good that you have a fallback. But let's now talk about your time in goalkeeping and the academy. Where do you want to reach through this club? What are you looking at?
Yes, so before I joined this club, I did the research, and I also found out that this club has attained 42 scholarships in the past, more than any other club in Barbados, and it also has 4 pending. And what I want to achieve through this club is either to become a professional athlete in goalkeeping or to attain an athletic scholarship. And I would like to thank Mr. Babel and the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Environment, the parents, and the RBC Capital Marketing for all the great work it has done with the club.
How did you come by the club? Somebody encouraged you, or you'd heard about all the work they do?
Well, one day I was traveling home. I was traveling to the city of Bridgetown. At that location, in Full Street, just past the YMCA. And I just saw this football club, and it was long to join one, so I decided to investigate a little more. And while investigating, I realized that the club was very structured, the boys were very friendly, and I also met Mr. Babel, and I was introduced to the club and the players. It was a warm, friendly welcome, and from there I decided to join the club because I liked what I saw, and also I did some more research and I also found that the club also not only focuses on your footballing ability, but it also prioritizes your academic ability as well, as the Mr. Babel and other BSA members do teach lessons.
Okay, no.
So we don't want to focus on football.
Yes, so now we're talking about that academic focus. You're currently studying management of business, tourism, and communication studies, among some others. How do those subjects fit into your football and your entrepreneurship drive?
Well, the business and the tourism part really do fit into the football, my work related part, because when I'm older, I want to go into fishing, as I say, so into the tourism industry. So the fishing, so the qualifications there would help me to achieve what I want to achieve. Also, in terms of football, also those subjects would be subjects I'm willing to pursue once I attain a scholarship.
Okay, so where do you want that scholarship to take you? Are there any areas that you've looked at where you think, you said to yourself, I would do well here?
Not necessarily, but I was studying, going to either Texas University or Houston.
Okay. Now, why, outside of you playing, I'm sure that you like to watch football when it's on screen. What's your favorite club?
So my favorite club is Chelsea. Morning to all Chelsea fans. Best side in the world.
But y'all were beat yesterday, so are you still a fan?
Yes, please, but it's over 2 legs, so our hope is not over as yet. So
Oh, okay. So
I'm
what
still
about Madrid?
optimistic
Your
that we
hope
will
isn't over.
prevail.
Okay,
It's
I
not over yet.
see.
I'm very optimistic.
Okay, but that's good to be. And who's your favorite player?
My favorite player is a guy. He's 29 years old. He's at Chelsea. His name is Hakim Ziyech, and he is a wonderful player. His nickname is the Wizard, or you could call him the Magician because he is very, very skilled. One of the most talented players I've ever seen.
So
Probably better than Messi.
what do you borrow from him in terms of your goalkeeping?
Well, his confidence won, and the way that he just aligns his teammates and get his teammates together, the way he communicates and motivates his team.
Okay. How many saves have you had recently? How many goals have you stopped?
I've had quite a number of saves recently, actually. Quite a number. I can say I'm proud of you.
Well, that's good to know that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. Now, if you were to encourage someone else to, like you said, another late bloomer who shows potential in the sport to come forward, what would be your advice to them?
My advice to them would be, don't matter the age, you can still make it once you put in the hard work, once you're determined, and once you're focused. Don't let the age be a deterrent, and don't let it determine what you become or not. It's never too late.
Never too late. Now, that's a good motto to have for you, 19-year-old Joseph. Now, if you weren't goalkeeping, what else would you be on that team?
I would be a left winger because, as I say, like the guy Hakim Ziyech, he's also a left winger, and I would also try to emulate what he does. So that's why I prefer to be a left winger also.
Okay. Now, how are things going in terms of preparation for those exams which will be coming up shortly?
Things are going great. As I said before, I'm managing my time wisely. Exams are just around the corner, and I'm doing all I can because this is my last year of school, and I really want to attain grades that I didn't necessarily get last year, and I'm very optimistic that that will happen.
Okay, so you're looking to step things up all the while. That's a great way to be, Joseph. So, Joseph Neblett, Barbados Soccer Academy, I want to say thanks for joining me here this morning on Morning Barbados. Best of luck to you, not only in your academics, but also with your soccer, and keep stopping those goals from reaching into that net, Joseph. You have a great day at school.
You too. Morning Barbados. Morning.
That was Joseph Neblett, a 19-year-old aspiring on the football field. Well, we have to be grateful that these exceptional youth are so confident in doing what they do and how they do it. Also remember that today is World Health Day. So if you're now getting up to breakfast, think about those options and try to make it a little healthier. Morning Barbados will be back after the break. And we're back. It's time for a social media buzz. The Ministry of Health and Wellness will be presenting Sneaker Day come tomorrow. Yes, this Friday, it will be Sneaker Day. It's a workplace wellness initiative, so wear your sneakers to work and keep moving throughout the day. The activities include using the stairs instead of the elevator. If possible, park further away from the building than you usually do. Walk a colleague to his or her desk instead of calling them, go and find out what you need to find out. And take at least 2 short breaks to walk to the outside of the building and walk in place at your desk. Count those steps, people. Let's get moving this Sneaker Day tomorrow, Friday. Also, you're invited to log on to the DEM's Facebook page for the Real Talk in the Face of Danger webinar. That starts from 11 and goes until 10 past 12. During the session, panelists will take a look at the La Soufrière volcano eruption in 2021 and its impacts on St. Vincent and the Grenadines and Barbados. The panelists will come from the DEM, the Barbados Meteorological Services, University of the West Indies, the Seismic Research Center, and the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Emergency Management Office. They will be speaking about their involvement with pre- and post-disaster actions with respect to volcanic eruptions. Also coming up, the Barbados Federation of Island Triathletes will be hosting its 2nd National Aquathlon Championships. They will be hosted in partnership with sponsor Rascal Barbados Water Park. Oh, it's already gone. It was on April 1st, I believe. They would have had that event. So here are some photos of these ones taking place in that event there at Brandon's Beach, where Rascals is located. Now, overall, the event was a success, and BFIT looks to build on this event annually. The venue lends itself to this type of event. After the business of racing was finished, the competitors and spectators enjoyed the facilities at Rascals Restaurant and Water Park. And as you know, Easter is coming up. We're open now, so we're getting back to some of the activities that we used to do. And one of them was having a school bonnet competition and parade. Well, the students at the Maria Holden Nursery School recently held their Easter parade showcase. Let's take a look at these little ones. Some of them are a bit shy and need someone to handhold. But here's hoping the Easter Bunny comes early for all of them and that they will have a blessed Easter. It's been a pleasure bringing you Morning Barbados this morning. Remember that it's World Health Day, so kite flying is one of those activities you can get up to, running up and down behind the pasture to that kite. But remember, don't go into the no-fly zones. Take every precaution and ensure that where you're flying is safe for kite flying. So we'll leave you now with the Maria Holder Nursery School on Government Hill enjoying their Easter Bonnet Parade. I'm Wendy Berg.
morning to you.